Make your marks.
You're listening to the Pool Boy Podcast.
Welcome back to the Pool Boy Podcast as we move inexorably towards the Olympic Games in Paris. Steve here, Katie is with me. There's been loads of swimming going on, Katie. I don't know how you've managed to keep on top of it all, but I'm sure you've enjoyed watching what's going on around the world.
Yeah, I've enjoyed my early morning wake-ups and checking what's happened overnight. And yeah, it all feels like it's getting quite real now.
Well, it is. We don't have Bob with us for this episode, but we do have with us a guest who we're going to chat with. So welcome to the podcast. British Swimming Olympian number 529, Ollie Morgan. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Where do you sit on the swimming nerd spectrum? I know Katie, when she was swimming, liked to know what everybody was doing. She trained with Becky Addington, who had absolutely no interest whatsoever. Where do you feel? Do you like to watch what everyone else is doing, or are you more in your own space?
Yeah, to be honest, we were always looking at times and stuff, especially while we were in Seti Colli, because you had the American trials were finishing at that point. You had the Europeans as well. You got the likes of like Popovici going these crazy, ridiculous times about 5 weeks out from the Olympics. So yeah, it's looking really exciting, not just for kind of the backstroke events, but also all the other events that it's going to be great to see what everyone else can do there.
And you saw one of your rivals in the 100 backstroke, Thomas Chicon, 52.4 in Rome. Good, nice to watch, or a little bit of nerves, or what? How does that make you feel?
No, I think it more excited me to know, that the time I did at trials would only be, 0.2, 0.3 away from what he's doing there. So yeah, I think with the prep we've been doing, it's looking really exciting for the Olympic Games. Yeah.
Well, let's rewind then back to trials and say congratulations on making the Olympic team. Fantastic achievement. A couple of months further on, has it sunk in?
It definitely took a while. I don't think it has quite set in that I am still going, but I think when we had our kit, our first kit, I guess, with the announcement day, that was when it was like, okay, this is really happening, and you get your official nomination. But yeah, the week at trials was quite a blast, really. It was pretty surreal to be competing at my first Olympic Games.
And we'll definitely need to come back to kit, because this is something that I'm very interested in, kit day. But I guess because I'm sure you've had to talk about this to loads of people, but relatively you're quite a new name on the British team, but you've kind of rocketed straight to the top. When did it feel like the Olympics was a real possibility for you? Like, how long has that been something that you're like, well, I can actually do this?
Yeah, so when I joined uni at my old club, you kind of had people would make jokes and be like, oh, he's going to make the Olympic Games one day. And I was always kind of like, no, there's not a chance that I'm making, Paris, that's for sure. But then I made the transition to uni here in Birmingham, and it was kind of, I then had that set program. I had more time in the pool. I had that specific gym program, and then we just saw vast improvements at every time I was swimming. So it's kind of, it's been quite the roller coaster of, I guess, ups and downs, but I would say there's been a lot more ups than there has been downs. We've adapted quite a lot in terms of my training and what I was able to deal with when I first kind of joined the uni. And, I went from swimming 3 times a week and about probably not even 10K in the pool a week to then having this whole program. And Gary was just like, you need to stay away from training today almost, because it's just going to break you otherwise. So, we've kind of dropped time, every year, quite a considerable amount, I guess, each year. So it's been really exciting in that sense. Lots of things to work on, which is always, helps me in training. It keeps you focused every day, having things to work on.
And how was that transition? I mean, I think I probably had quite a similar transition to you, because I was from a very small club, and then I went to Nottingham University and joined Nova Centurion, and was suddenly going from about 5 sessions a week to 10. And I can remember so clearly my first week like a 13-year-old girl sailing past me and just thinking, what have I done? Because I just wasn't used to it at all. Like, how did you find the transition?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. I remember turning up to my first day of pre-season in my first year, and we did like 10K on the first day, and I was just absolutely shattered. Like, I was like, what on earth? How am I going to do this for 3 years of my course? But then we just had to be sensible with it in terms of gradually building it up. And not breaking me. I wasn't a scholar at the uni the first year, so I didn't get access to, your physio and your masseuse and things like that. So it was quite difficult, and I definitely struggled quite a lot with, little niggles and not having that kind of background staff to help you out. But yeah, we just gradually built up our training, and things went from there.
And what do you think made you keep going through what sounds like it was quite a tough first year? Like, there's so much going on when you go to university. It'd be so much easier to think, oh, do you know what? I'm probably going to let this go and I'll just do different things. But you've obviously kind of gone to the other extreme, which is amazing.
Yeah. I think it was just I've always loved like pushing myself, whether it be in swimming or other sports, and kind of pushing that boundary of what I was capable of. I did a lot of mountain biking during COVID and through secondary school. So, that was going out on my bike for 2 or 3 hours a day and just, basically put myself in the bin in terms of that. So I just loved always, just working hard. And I guess then moving to uni, I wanted to put it all into swimming. I remember sitting down with Gary, I think it was after the Christmas period, and, we actually set out a plan rather than just taking it kind of as it went. So we actually sat down and said we could have something special here. He watched me for the first time race. I think it was the Festival of Swimming just after COVID, and he saw me do the 100 and 200 back, and he was like, "I've never seen someone swim this well off of the training that I'm doing." He said that the way that I catch the water and swim overall was something that he thought could be world class. So that's something we've kept working on and not changed. And now I've got this support of the scholarship team here. Obviously, breaking through into the British team, I've now got their support as well. So they kind of work together, and it's really kind of seamless how I kind of am able to drop in between the two different teams, and they work really well together. So it's been pretty smooth and enjoyable, I guess.
You talk about the work you've done with Gary at Birmingham and kind of splitting the two teams, and now having the support from Aquatics GB as well. How does that work and I think you went to Thailand, did you, with Mel's group earlier this year? How does that work when with Gary and Mel working together? Does Gary say, "Oh, you should be doing X, Y, and Z," and Mel tweaks it a little bit, or does he just hand you over and then you're off?
It's kind of he'll set out what the objectives of that camp would be, and then also what Mel wants from her group, and then it's kind of seamless where I'll drop in between, I guess, training with, say, Luke, or doing, I don't know, a sprint session, say, with Adam or something like that. So it's quite seamless, and especially when we went out to Thailand, it kind of worked out how we'd split that cycle anyway, that going out there and doing some more meters, for instance, was what I needed. So it clearly worked. It's pretty smooth how it all works.
And obviously you've had a massive success off the back of what you are doing in Birmingham, but it's a pretty different environment. Obviously you're at a perhaps a slightly higher level than a lot of the people swimming there, just by the nature of the improvement you've made. So does it help to go and train with the national team guys?
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing you get with training with those guys is obviously I get a bit more lane space when we go to, say, Thailand and things like that compared to what I get here at Birmingham. So that's kind of something that I always like. But I wouldn't say there's key benefits, either way, based on who you're training with. I think it's just going head to head with, say, Luke in training is something that I don't get here. Where here I'm racing like the freestylers, for instance. So yeah, it's just different, but equally enjoyable and equally, as hard or as challenging. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now you did drop lots of time last year, as you've already mentioned, and then made another big drop at trials this year. Almost a second improvement. Well, this was a second improvement, I think. Or no, sorry, half a second improvement. Was that kind of expected?
Yeah, we'd been working towards certain splits in training, and then also trying to hit certain things at like Edinburgh, the meet in Edinburgh and Bucks, for instance. So we kind of knew what could be there, when we rested up and really went for that all out time. But I think what we've been doing in training is really exciting in terms of the times that I've been hitting and been holding through sessions. So yeah, it's really exciting to see that you're able to hold these times in training, these splits, and then be able to then pull it off in the one chance you've got it. We would have maybe liked to have been slightly quicker, but I think everyone always wants to be slightly quicker. But no, I was really pleased with how we pulled off the swim at trials based on the incredible high pressure environment that it is. So yeah, it's really exciting to then see what we can do moving into the games.
And there is a big gala, as Imogen Clark would say, in a few weeks where you can go even faster if there's more room for improvement.
Yeah, my family like to call it the little gala.
Are your family going to be able to come out to watch?
So yeah, my whole family's coming. So my mum, dad, my sister, my girlfriend, and then I think my sister's boyfriend's coming as well. So there'll be a good group of them out there. I don't know. They haven't told me specifically what tickets they've got, based on how expensive they are and how we only get one ticket for each session we swim at. So yeah, it's difficult. But just having them out there is really nice.
Oh, one ticket's tough. You have to pick your favourite relative.
I'm just gonna give it to them and they can decide. I'm not having any.
I think that's very sensible. You also won the 200 back at trials with one of the most ridiculous last 50s I think we've seen. I think Katie texted me when there was about 10 meters to go, what a great last 50, but she was talking about Luke, and then you came straight past him and won. So where did you pull that out from?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. We'd kind of, obviously I did the heat in the morning, it felt pretty smooth. And then we'd kind of gone into the evening and thought, I'm going to attack this right from the get-go. And then whilst I was swimming it, I just didn't do that. So it was kind of weird how then I remember turning with 50 to go, and as I turned, I saw Luke push off, and I was like, "Come on, we've got to go now." So I literally just remember doing barely any underwater kicks, I think, and just getting up and just trying as hard as I could. So yeah, it clearly worked. But I think I said to Bob whilst we were there that I still have things to work on in terms of the pacing of it. When you're finishing a 200, you want to be pretty much dying, whereas I think I probably could have gone a bit further, which, it's not the most amazing thing to have at the end of a race, but it's exciting to see what we can do if we get it right.
But it's pretty unusual, especially when you are coming from a lower volume background, to be able to pick up all the way up to the 200 at the level you have. Have you got a feel for kind of what your sweet spot is in terms of events? It looks like the 100, but the 200's improved so much. I guess it's difficult to know.
Yeah, I think in my head I do prefer the 100 based on it's more speed than endurance, but also the kind of opportunities that you get with the relay as well. We do a lot of relays at Bucks, which are always really, really enjoyable. When you put your split together and then it's on the other boys or the girls as well in the mix to put their swims together, it's something that's really exciting. But yeah, I think as well though, the 200, I do enjoy the 200 more so when I'm doing it rather than just before. yeah, it's just one of those events that I'm still learning, and it's always I don't hate doing it, but it's kind of I don't enjoy it as much as what I do. I don't get that excitement as much as what I do with the 100 until I've literally done it or I'm doing it, which is then I really enjoy it.
Oh, the 200 back is, I think it's the hardest event. It's like
Yeah,
legs wise it asks a lot from you, doesn't it?
yeah, it's one of those ones where if you switch off at any point, it's just, you can't come back from it almost.
You mentioned the relays there. Obviously, the 100 back, a big part of the medley relay, which has been very successful and looking promising again for Paris. Do you relish being part of that quartet?
Yeah, Worlds was my first experience of being in any sort of GB relay, and I think having that pressure of being the first leg was something that I kind of relished. We did the heats. We just scraped into the final, luckily. And you had the likes of the Italians not making it, and then lane eight in the final, and we came away with, I think we were fifth, and only half a second away from the medals. So I think that was really exciting. But also the fact that I'd gone a PB on, what was it, day 8 or 9 of competing. That's looking really good for what we can do at the games, and as well having Adam back on the breaststroke leg, that gives us a little bit more. So it's really exciting now to be 5 weeks away from competing in a relay, hopefully.
Well, you've just come back from Rome, where you were swimming at Seticoli over there, where you had the whole Olympic team together. What was it like? Probably the first time you've all been since trials, all been in the same place. What was that like?
Yeah, it was really good. Everyone gets along. The team kind of atmosphere is, I think, really exciting. We've got a mixture of new athletes. There's quite a lot of new athletes and a lot of first Olympians as well. So to have that mix of us and then also the experienced guys, like you've got Duncan at his third Olympics, Ben Proud, and having those guys as well. It's something that, again, is really exciting, and being a part of that and it becoming more normal to be a part of that. I know I said to Katie earlier that how it's just almost bizarre being with these kind of people that you always used to watch on TV. I remember when it was Rio, staying up till stupid o'clock in the morning to watch Adam swim, and now I could be in that relay with him. So it's almost a dream come true to be competing and swimming with these people.
And was having everybody together, was that the coaches trying to sort of get you together as a team as well? You've got another few weeks before you go to holding camp, but was it a team building thing as much as a competing thing?
Yeah, I think it's also just working out those strategies and how everyone else works, so you can work out timings and things for when you can get access to physios or the nutritionist or your support coaches and things like that. We had a couple of team meetings and things, just going over stuff for the games, just so everybody has a better knowledge and learning from past experiences of people at the Olympics. It's quite exciting to be again within this team and learning how it works, and it was quite good to then be with the whole team in one place prior to the games.
And talking about being part of the team, I would like to hear about kit day, if that's allowed, because I just I just think it looks so great, and it must, for me, I always think it must be that moment when you're like, whoa, this is really happening. Is it as fun as it looks? Did you have a great time?
Yeah, it was really good. So we were there for about, at the kitting out, actually at there for about 4 hours, I think. So you have this whole reception area with all the different sponsors of Team GB that give you all these goodies, and there was a little Aldi shop kind of thing there, for instance, so you could get loads of snacks and things. And then we kind of walked through into this, there was just a TV, and we watched this video, really kind of inspiring video of, I think it was about Jess Ennis Hill. Is it Jess Ennis Hill? Yeah.
Yeah.
About her journey, I guess. And then we had like this cool photo shoot with, I think it was with NatWest. And then we went into the Adidas part, tried on all of our kit, making sure it was all the right size. You get given a personal shopper, which is really exciting. Just someone that helps you out and goes, yeah, you look good in that, or maybe get a bigger size or a smaller size. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we had our opening and closing ceremony wear. So that's with Ben Sherman, which was pretty cool. And then we got like a Team GB suit as well, which was also pretty exciting to get. Then we had this like a TikTok kind of team immersion thing where you did different challenges and weird games and stuff against each other, which was quite fun. And then we just had the media at the end. You answer a few questions. I did this cool thing on the green screen. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you have a favourite item of kit or equipment that you have been given?
Yeah, we were actually talking about this. I think it was on Sunday whilst some of us were pre-pooling, and we were discussing what was the most ludicrous thing and what was the most like, the nicest thing to wear. So we got some like I think the nicest thing I said was we got this nice like rain jacket. It's like bright blue almost, kind of turquoise, which is quite nice, and some matching trousers, but I wasn't too sure about those. And then I guess the weirdest thing maybe, quite a lot of it is like cropped. So like a lot of people were complaining that it was cropped. So like we had like this sweatshirt. It was a really nice sweatshirt, but then it was like cropped. So some people, if they had a long kind of torso, their like belly button was out almost. So you had to like get a bigger size for it to actually fit lengthways. But yeah, no, it's super cool. Trying on this stuff. I remember once I got back from kitting out, I went home that weekend and took it all back with me and had to do like a fashion show for my family, basically, where I wanted to see everything. So yeah,
I thought you were going to say you had to take it back to your parents because you had no space for it.
I did. Well, that was the reason, really. Yeah, there's no room in my uni house anymore for any more kit.
Well, so you're ready to go from a kit point of view. Obviously, you said 5 weeks until the games start. Just a couple of weeks probably until you head out to France to the holding camp. What are you expecting from yourself in Paris? What are you hoping to achieve?
Well, I definitely want to step it up from what I achieved at Worlds. I want to be part of that final in both of the 100 and 200. And yeah, just to know that I've stepped it on from last year. And again, yeah, pushing my times even lower. And I definitely want to look to be trying to get a medal on the 100 for sure. And then obviously we could be competing for gold as well in the medley relay. So yeah, it's really exciting to see what does happen. And I just don't think there's much point in putting kind of a limit on what is possible, because that's something that my team and me have learned from the past like 3 years I've had, that it's just been crazy really, that we've gone from making nationals 3 years ago to now making the Olympic team and looking at possibly a medal. So yeah.
Do you think it benefited you doing other sports when you were younger and kind of coming to swimming like at your own, deciding that was what you wanted to do? Or do you wish that you'd kind of focused on swimming when you were a bit younger?
I think I just did what I enjoyed at the time when I was younger. Most boys grow up and they want to be a footballer. I played lots of football when I was younger. I played a bit of academy football here and there. And then I started mountain biking. My dad was into that, so then I got into that. Did loads of like marathon series and things, which was pretty challenging, but yeah, I enjoyed it. And then I guess you kind of, I do regret not being part of like, your junior teams and things, which builds that confidence and that experience that you get from there. I remember going to my first April trials. I remember making the A final and I was next to Luke and I was like, oh my God, because like I'd never spoken to him before. I'd never really raced against him before. and now I'm racing, and people are trying to get into the Commonwealth Games. And yeah, it was kind of like, what am I doing here almost? So yeah, it's quite exciting to know that I've come from kind of nothing almost in the past 3 years. And it was kind of, we had that mindset of the pressure's not on me. I'm not defending a spot or anything like that. I'm just chasing it, and whatever happens, happens. So yeah, it's been quite good. Gary's been really good with that mindset of just taking each swim as it comes and seeing what comes with it. And yeah, not building that pressure of who we're challenging or, what we're racing against.
Are you someone who sets themselves a time and sticks a label above their bed and looks at it every night before you go to sleep and all that kind of thing? Or do you just, train to be the best that you can be and the time will follow?
Yeah. I remember before trials, my coaches, trying to predict my time that I was going to go, but they wouldn't tell me that because I've always been like, I'm just gonna train as hard as I can, do everything that I can to help, and whatever happens, happens. And yeah, we've always been like, if you're chasing something, it's not going to come to you almost. You've just got to relax and let it happen. I remember like chasing to go 54 point in the 100 back for what seemed like ages. And then all of a sudden I went from a 54 high to a then 53 just because I let it almost happen simultaneously. So yeah, it's just adapting and learning to have that mindset of just relaxing in the moment and not tensing up, and enjoying it and being confident in what you've prepared, and yeah, hope it'll just happen on the day.
Well, I think that sounds like an excellent attitude to take with you into Paris. I think that's a good point to draw things to a close here. So, Ollie, thanks very much for your time. We wish you masses of luck for Paris. We can't wait to see what you can do out there. So, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, that was all for this episode of the Pool Boy podcast. We wish Ollie luck as he heads to Paris. When we're next with you, we'll be looking forward to that competition. It is getting very close, so we'll be previewing events in Paris. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch, find me on social media, @poolboy on Twitter, @poolboyuk on Instagram, or you can go to poolboy.co.uk/contact. Until we're back with you to really get ready for Paris. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Pool Boy podcast. For more episodes, visit www.poolboy.co.uk/podcast.